Night has fallen softly around you. The world outside your window has grown quiet, settling into that particular stillness that belongs only to these hours when the day releases its hold. Perhaps you hear rain drifting against glass, each drop a gentle finger tapping at the threshold between waking and sleep. Perhaps you hear only silence, vast and patient, wrapping itself around your room like a blanket woven from darkness and peace. You lie here now, your body finding its place among pillows and sheets, seeking that perfect arrangement of limbs and weight that signals to your bones that it is time, finally, to rest. Your eyes may be closed already, or they may be gazing softly at shadows on the ceiling, watching nothing in particular, simply allowing the dim shapes to blur and merge as your vision relaxes its perpetual focus. But even as your body begins to settle, you notice something else. Your mind, that restless companion, continues its familiar dance. It replays moments from the day just past, turning them over like stones in a river, examining each one as though there were still something to be done about them, some verdict to be reached, some judgment to be made. A conversation repeats itself. A task undone whispers its presence. A worry about tomorrow leans close, asking for attention. This is the way of the mind, isn't it? This refusal to simply stop, this need to grip and hold and plan and protect. Even here, in the sanctuary of your bed, in this hour dedicated to release, some part of you continues to clench, to push, to resist the very rest you seek. Tonight, let us consider a different way, not a way of forcing yourself to sleep, for that would simply be more of the same struggle, more pushing, more resistance. No. Tonight, we will explore something older and wiser, something that has been understood by sages and philosophers for thousands of years, something that water knows without ever needing to learn it. Tonight, we will discover how softness overcomes even the hardest stone, how yielding is a form of strength, how the practice of flowing rather than fighting can transform not only how you sleep, but how you meet the world in all its infinite complexity. Listen to the night around you. Feel how it asks nothing of you. The darkness does not demand that you be productive or efficient or successful. The silence does not judge your thoughts or weigh your worth. The hours between dusk and dawn exist in a different relationship with time itself. A relationship that has nothing to do with schedules or deadlines, or the relentless forward march that characterizes our days. Here, In this space, you are held by something vast and patient. You are floating in an ocean of time that predates your birth and will continue long after your final breath. This thought, rather than making you feel small, can be a profound comfort. You are part of something immense and eternal, something that moves according to laws deeper than human worry, patterns more fundamental than human striving. Water knows these laws, but first, allow yourself to notice where you are holding. Scan through your body slowly, with gentle attention. Your jaw, perhaps, clenched despite the safety of this moment. Your shoulders risen toward your ears as though still braced against some invisible threat. Your hands curled into loose fists, gripping nothing, yet unable to fully open. Your belly, tight with a tension that has become so familiar, you barely register it anymore. These are the places where you are being stone. These are the places where you have forgotten how to be water. And it is not your fault. The world teaches us to be hard, to be defended, to build walls and maintain them at all costs. We are told that softness is weakness, that yielding is defeat, that to flow with circumstances rather than fighting against them is to give up, to surrender our power, to become passive victims of fate. But this is not what water teaches. Water is not weak. Water is the most powerful force on Earth. Water carved the Grand Canyon. Water shapes mountains. Water splits stone. And it does all this through one simple practice. It yields. It flows. It finds the path of least resistance, and it never stops moving. This is the ancient wisdom we will explore together tonight. This is the philosophy that can transform your relationship with struggle, with sleep, with life itself. It comes from the Taoist sages of ancient China, from texts written thousands of years ago that speak with perfect clarity to this very moment, to you lying in your bed, seeking peace. The Tao Te Ching, written by the philosopher Lao Tzu, offers us this profound observation. Nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water. Yet for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it. These words were written more than 2,000 years ago, yet they could have been written for you, for this night, for this exact moment when you need to learn how to soften, how to yield, how to let the day dissolve and allow sleep to come not through force, but through flowing. So let us begin this journey together. Let us move slowly, like water finding its course through an unknown landscape. Let us allow this philosophy to seep into understanding, not through intellectual effort, but through something closer to listening, to feeling, to recognizing what some deep part of you has always known, but perhaps forgotten in the noise and rush of living. Breathe with me now, slowly. Let your breath become like a wave, rising and falling, moving with its own natural rhythm. You do not need to control it. You do not need to make it perfect. Simply notice it, and in noticing, allow it to deepen, to slow, to become more like the breathing of someone already asleep, someone who has remembered how to trust the body's ancient wisdom about rest. And as you breathe, imagine that you are lying beside a river. You cannot see it clearly in the darkness, but you hear it, that eternal sound of water moving over stone, through reed beds, under the vast dome of stars. The river asks nothing of you. It does not need you to understand it, or figure it out, or make decisions about it. It simply flows, and in flowing, it invites you to do the same. This is where we begin. Long ago, in a time before cities rose and fell, before the names of nations were spoken into being, there stood a mountain. It was a magnificent mountain, proud and tall, its peak touching the realm of clouds, its base planted deep in the bones of the earth. The mountain knew its own strength. It felt the weight of its stone, the permanence of its form, the way it dominated the landscape for miles in every direction. This mountain had stood for so long that it had forgotten its own beginning. It seemed to the mountain that it had always been there and would always remain, unchanging and eternal, a monument to the power of solidity, of strength, of unwavering presence. The mountain looked out over the land and felt satisfied with its dominion. At the base of this mountain, so small as to be nearly invisible from the summit, a river was born. It began as a spring, a tiny seeping of water from between stones, barely more than a dampness, a trickle, a whisper of moisture. The water gathered itself slowly, finding other drops, joining with them, forming first a thread, then a stream, then something you might properly call a river, though it was young and uncertain, finding its way through the world it had just entered. The river moved around the mountain's base, flowing where the land allowed, following the path of least resistance. It did not choose its course through any grand plan or ambitious design. It simply flowed where flowing was possible, turning when it encountered obstacles, pooling when the land dipped, rushing when the slope fell away beneath it. The mountain, observing this small river at its feet, felt something like amusement. Here was a creature so soft, so yielding, so powerless. The river could not climb the mountain's heights. It could barely maintain its own course, being diverted by every rock and root. It gave way to everything, flowing around stones instead of moving through them, accepting defeat at every turn. "You are weak," the mountain said to the river, its voice like the grumble of stone grinding against stone deep in the earth. "Look at you, always changing, always moving, never able to keep your form for even a moment. You have no strength, no permanence. A child could dam you with a pile of rocks. A summer drought could make you vanish entirely. You are nothing." The river, if it heard these words, did not respond. It simply continued flowing, day after day, night after night. Through seasons and years, it flowed in spring when snowmelt swelled its banks, making it rush and roar with temporary power. It flowed in summer, reduced to a gentle murmur, barely more than a thread of moisture through sun-baked stones. It flowed in autumn, steady and cool, reflecting the colors of changing leaves. It flowed in winter, beneath ice, beneath snow, slow but never stopping, never entirely frozen, despite the cold that gripped the world above. And the mountain stood, unmoved, unchanged, proud in its permanence. But here is what the mountain, in its pride, failed to notice. The river was teaching the stone a lesson. Every day, every hour, every moment, the water moved against rock, not with violence, not with force or fury or the intention to destroy, simply with presence, simply with the patient persistence of its nature. Where the water flowed, it carried tiny particles of the mountain with it. Grains of sand, smaller than thought, too small to see. Minerals dissolved into the current, the slightest wearing away of surface, a smoothing so gradual it seemed like no change at all. Years passed, decades, centuries. The mountain continued to stand, still proud, still certain of its own permanence. But if you looked closely now, if you examined the places where water met stone, you would see something different. The rock had been carved, not broken, but shaped, smoothed, changed. The river had worn grooves into the mountain's base. These grooves deepened over time, becoming channels, then gullies, then something more profound. The water, which had once flowed around the mountain, had begun to flow through it, finding weaknesses in the stone, following cracks, widening fissures, creating passages where none had existed before. More time passed, millennia. The mountain, which had seemed eternal, began to know erosion. The river, which had seemed powerless, began to know its own terrible strength. The water carved deeper and deeper, patient beyond human understanding, consistent beyond the mountain's ability to resist. And then, one day, if a mountain can be said to have a day when it realizes its fate, the mountain understood. The river had split it. The water had found its way through stone, had carved a canyon, had divided what had once been whole. The proud peak, which had touched clouds, began to crumble. Centuries more, and the mountain was no longer one mountain, but many hills, separated by the river's persistent flow. The water had not fought. It had not forced. It had not needed to prove its strength through violence or confrontation. It had simply done what water does: flowed, yielded, adapted, and never stopped moving. And in doing so, it had accomplished what no force, no hammer, no violence could achieve. It had overcome the stone through the simple practice of being itself. The river flows there still, through the valley it created, under stars that witnessed this slow transformation. It does not celebrate its victory. It does not crow about its power. It simply flows as it has always flowed, teaching the same lesson to anyone willing to listen. Softness overcomes hardness. Patience outlasts pride. And the yielding nature of water contains within it a strength that stone can never match. You, lying here in darkness, are both mountain and river. Parts of you are hard, defended, rigid with the effort of holding yourself together. And parts of you are fluid, yielding, ready to flow. Tonight, you are learning which part holds the greater power. Tonight, you are discovering that strength lies not in how hard you can become, but in how fully you can allow yourself to soften, to yield, to flow with, rather than against, the current of your own existence. The story of the mountain and the river is more than a story. It is a teaching about the fundamental nature of reality itself, a truth that the ancient Chinese philosophers recognized thousands of years ago and encoded in a tradition of wisdom we now call Taoism. The word Tao itself is difficult to translate precisely. In English, we often say the way, but this captures only a fraction of its meaning. The Tao is the path, yes, but it is also the pathfinder, the walking, and the destination all at once. It is the fundamental principle underlying all existence, the natural order of things, the pattern that runs through everything, from the movement of planets to the falling of leaves to the beating of your heart. The Tao is not something you need to seek in distant temples or hidden mountaintops. It is here, now, in the darkness surrounding you, in the rhythm of your breath, in the way your body knows without being told how to heal a wound or digest a meal or grow hair and nails without any conscious effort on your part. The Tao is the intelligence of nature itself, the wisdom that predates human thinking, the order that exists, not because someone imposed it, but because it is the inherent pattern of how things are. Lao Tzu, the sage who wrote the Tao Te Ching, describes it this way: the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. In other words, the deepest truths cannot be captured in words. They can only be experienced, lived, embodied. This is why we turn to images and metaphors, to rivers and mountains, to night and water, to help us feel our way toward understanding. At the heart of Taoist philosophy lies a concept called Wu Wei, often translated as effortless action or non-doing. This does not mean laziness or passivity. It does not mean sitting still and allowing life to happen to you without response. Rather, Wu Wei describes a way of engaging with the world that is aligned with the Tao, with the natural flow of things. Think of a skilled swimmer. When you first learn to swim, you fight the water. You thrash and struggle, using enormous energy to keep yourself afloat, working against the water's nature. But as you become skilled, something shifts. You learn to relax, to let the water support you, to move with its currents rather than against them. You use less energy, but accomplish more. Your movements become fluid, efficient, almost effortless. This is Wu Wei. This is the practice of aligning yourself with the natural way rather than exhausting yourself in resistance. Or consider a master martial artist. They do not meet force with force, hardness with hardness. When struck, they yield, redirecting the opponent's energy, using the attacker's own momentum against them. They are like water, adapting to the shape of whatever container holds them, flowing around obstacles, soft yet utterly effective. This is the practical application of the river's teaching. Softness overcomes hardness. Yielding is a form of strength. The Tao Te Ching returns again and again to this image of water as the perfect teacher. Listen to these words from the ancient text. The supreme good is like water, which nourishes all things without trying to. It flows to places that others reject, and so is like the Tao. Water does not choose to be noble or virtuous. It simply follows its nature, flowing downward, filling empty spaces, giving life wherever it goes, not through intention, but through essence. Another passage offers this wisdom. Nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water, yet for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it. The soft overcomes the hard. The gentle overcomes the rigid. Everyone knows this is true, but few can put it into practice. Listen to those final words again. Everyone knows this is true, but few can put it into practice. Here is the challenge, the invitation, the work of wisdom. Not simply to understand these teachings intellectually, but to embody them, to live them, to allow them to change how you move through the world. Complementing the concept of Wu Wei is the understanding of yin and yang, those ancient symbols you have likely seen. The circle divided into dark and light, each containing a seed of its other. This is not a symbol of opposition, but of complementary wholeness. Yin and yang teach us that apparent opposites are actually interdependent, each giving meaning and existence to the other. Darkness and light, rest and activity, softness and strength, inhale and exhale. None of these can exist without its partner. The darkest night makes possible the brightest dawn. The deepest rest enables the most vital activity. And most relevant to our journey tonight, the practice of softness, of yielding, contains within it a strength that rigidity can never access. Modern life has become deeply yang, aggressive, bright, forward-pushing, competitive, loud, active, striving. We celebrate the qualities of light and force and speed. We praise the who never rest, who push through exhaustion, who overcome obstacles through sheer determination. And there is a place for yang energy, of course. But without yin, without rest and receptivity and softness, yang becomes destructive, burning itself out, leading to exhaustion, burnout, illness, and despair. You, lying here seeking sleep, are practicing yin. You are allowing yourself to receive rather than to act, to soften rather than to push, to surrender to the natural rhythm of rest. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. This is the balance that makes continued action possible. This is how you gather the energy you will need for tomorrow's yang moments. Another great Taoist philosopher, Zhuangzi, tells stories that illuminate these teachings through paradox and humor. He writes of a butcher whose knife never dulls because he cuts through spaces between joints rather than hacking through bone. He tells of a tree so gnarled and twisted that it is useless for lumber, and therefore it lives to a great old age, while the straight, useful trees are cut down in their prime. These stories teach that usefulness and success, as the world defines them, are not always the highest goods. Sometimes the crooked path is the wise path. Sometimes refusing to be used is the ultimate utility. Zhuangzi also asks us to consider his famous butterfly dream. He dreamed he was a butterfly, flying freely, happy, completely unaware of being Zhuangzi. Then he woke and wondered, am I a man who dreamed of being a butterfly? Or am I a butterfly now dreaming of being a man? This is not just a playful riddle. It points to something profound about the nature of identity and reality itself. What we think of as our fixed, solid self is perhaps more fluid, more dreamlike, more transformable than we imagine. This fluidity, this willingness to question what seems solid and certain, is at the heart of Taoist practice. When you believe you are stone, you suffer. You crack under pressure. You resist change. You exhaust yourself trying to remain unchanged in a universe where change is the only constant. But when you remember you are water, you flow, you adapt, you yield to what cannot be changed, and thereby you change everything. Consider how this philosophy speaks to the very struggle that brought you to this moment, seeking rest. Your mind wants to remain active, to keep solving problems, to maintain control. This is the mind playing at being stone, believing that hardness equals safety, that vigilance equals protection. But it is precisely this rigidity, this refusal to yield, that keeps you awake. It is the pushing that creates the resistance. Sleep cannot be forced. You cannot command yourself to sleep any more than you can command a river to flow uphill. Sleep is something that happens when you stop preventing it, when you remove the obstacles, when you allow the natural yin energy of rest to arise, because you have stopped flooding your system with yang efforts to control the uncontrollable. This is Wu Wei in practice, the art of getting out of your own way, the discipline of undiscipline, the effort of non-effort. It sounds paradoxical, and it is because the deepest truths often are. But your body understands this paradox, even if your mind struggles with it. Your body knows how to sleep. It has been doing it since before you were born, practicing it in the womb, perfecting it through every night of your life. You do not need to learn how to sleep. You only need to stop interfering with what your body already knows. Lao Tzu offers this guidance. In the pursuit of learning, every day something is acquired. In the pursuit of Tao, every day something is dropped. What can you drop tonight? What can you release? What burden? What worry? What need to figure everything out? Can you set down beside your bed and leave there until morning, if you must pick it up again at all? The Taoist sages teach that true wisdom begins with recognizing how little we know, how little we need to know, how much of our suffering comes from the belief that we must understand and control everything. They teach that emptiness is not a void to be feared, but a space to be honored, a receptivity that allows the Tao to flow through us without obstruction. Zhuangzi writes, "The perfect man employs his mind as a mirror. It grasps nothing. It refuses nothing. It receives but does not keep." This is the practice, to let thoughts and worries pass through awareness like reflections on water, without grasping them, without pushing them away, simply allowing them to arise and dissolve in their own time. You are not responsible for stopping your thoughts. You cannot stop them any more than you can stop the river from flowing. But you can change your relationship to them. Instead of fighting them or feeding them, you can watch them the way you might watch leaves floating past on a current. There goes a worry about tomorrow. There goes a memory from today. There goes a fragment of a conversation, a moment of embarrassment, a plan, a regret. Let them float by. You do not need to grab them or solve them or understand them. They are just thoughts. And thoughts are as natural and impermanent as ripples on water. This is how water overcomes stone. Not through violence or force, but through the simple practice of being itself, continuously, patiently, without resistance. And you can be water too. In fact, you already are. Your body is mostly water. Your blood flows like a river. Your breath moves like waves. You are not learning something foreign tonight. You are remembering something you have always known, something written into the very substance of your being. Now let us turn this ancient philosophy toward the texture of your actual life, toward the specific ways you meet the world each day, toward the countless moments when you are asked to choose between being stone or being water, even if you don't recognize the choice as it presents itself. Think about a recent moment of frustration. Perhaps it was small, barely memorable. A traffic light that turned red just as you approached, forcing you to wait. A website that loaded slowly, making you tap your fingers impatiently. A person who spoke too long, or too loudly, or too slowly, pulling at your attention when you wanted to be elsewhere, thinking about something else. In these moments, what did you do? If you are like most people, You tightened. You resisted. You pushed against reality with the force of your preference, wanting things to be different than they were, fighting the present moment with the weapons of irritation and impatience. You became stone, hard and inflexible, and the result was suffering. Not catastrophic suffering, perhaps, but that particular discomfort that comes from grinding yourself against the world's refusal to conform to your expectations. Now imagine meeting that same moment differently. The traffic light turns red. You notice this. You feel the initial surge of frustration. Yes, because you are human, and this is how humans respond. But then, instead of feeding that frustration, instead of tensing against it, you breathe. You relax your shoulders. You accept that this light is red, that you will wait, that this waiting is now part of your reality. And fighting it changes nothing except your own internal state. This is water consciousness. This is Wu Wei. You are not becoming passive or defeated. You are not pretending to be happy about the delay. You are simply flowing around the obstacle rather than bruising yourself against it. You are choosing to be soft where hardness serves no purpose. Or consider a larger example, something that touches the core of how you construct your life. Think about your career, your relationships, your plans for the future. How much of your energy goes into trying to force outcomes, to control variables, to ensure that things unfold according to your design? How often do you find yourself pushing, straining, working harder and harder, believing that more force equals better results? The Taoist perspective invites you to question this assumption. It suggests that there might be another way, a way that involves listening more than speaking, yielding more than pushing, trusting the natural flow of events rather than trying to dam and redirect the river according to your blueprints. This doesn't mean abandoning your desires or goals. Water flows toward the ocean, after all. It has a direction, a destination. But it doesn't exhaust itself, fighting every rock in its path. It goes around. It goes under. It goes through, but always along the line of least resistance, always conserving its energy for the long journey, always trusting that the way forward exists, even when it's not immediately visible. Where in your life are you being the mountain, proud and rigid, refusing to change? And where could you be the river instead, soft and adaptive, finding new paths when old ones close, flowing with rather than against the shape of circumstance? Lao Tzu teaches, "He who knows that enough is enough will always have enough." This is perhaps one of the most challenging teachings for modern minds. For we live in a culture that constantly tells us that enough is never enough, that more is always better, that satisfaction is a trap and ambition is a virtue. But consider the wisdom in this teaching. The person who cannot recognize enough is like someone trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. No matter how much water they pour in, it drains away, and they remain forever thirsty, forever pursuing, forever unsatisfied. This is the exhaustion of yang without yin, of striving without rest, of accumulation without appreciation. What would it mean for you to know that enough is enough? Not in some absolute, final way, but just for tonight, just for this moment. What would it mean to say, today was enough. I did enough. I am enough. And now I can rest. This is not about lowering your standards or abandoning your dreams. It's about recognizing that the pursuit of more without the practice of satisfaction is a form of violence against yourself, a way of being stone when you could be water, a refusal to flow that leaves you fractured and exhausted. The practice of softness begins with self-compassion. It begins with turning toward yourself with the same gentle attention you might offer to a tired child, recognizing that you are doing your best in a complex and often difficult world, that your imperfections are not flaws to be hammered into shape, but aspects of your humanity to be held with tenderness. When you make a mistake, do you attack yourself with harsh judgment, trying to force yourself into better behavior through criticism and shame? This is the way of stone, rigid, punishing, inflexible. Or can you meet your mistakes the way water meets a rock, flowing around them, learning from them, adjusting your course without declaring war on yourself? Chuangzi tells of a frog in a well who believes the small circle of sky above him is the entire universe. When a turtle from the ocean tries to describe the vastness of the sea, the frog cannot comprehend it, for his experience is limited to the well, and he has mistaken this limitation for the whole of reality. We are all, in various ways, frogs in wells. Our perspective is necessarily limited. Our understanding is partial. Our judgments are based on incomplete information, and yet we often behave as though we see everything clearly, as though our view is the view, as though our way is the only way. The practice of softness includes intellectual humility, a willingness to admit that you might be wrong, that there might be more to understand, that other perspectives might contain truths you haven't yet glimpsed. This softening of certainty is not a weakness. It's an opening, a space where new understanding can enter, where growth becomes possible. Think about an argument you've had recently, or a disagreement, or even just a moment when someone saw something differently than you did. How did you respond? Did you harden your position, determined to prove yourself right, to win the debate, to make the other person see things your way? Or were you able to be curious, to listen, to consider that truth might be more complex than your initial view could capture? Water doesn't argue with the landscape. It doesn't insist that valleys should be mountains or mountains should be plains. It accepts what is and finds a way through. This is not the same as having no preferences or opinions. It's about holding your views lightly enough that you can change them when new information arrives, flexible enough to learn, soft enough to grow. Lao Tzu writes, "Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power." This mastery he speaks of is not the mastery of domination, where you force yourself into submission through willpower and discipline. It's the mastery of understanding, of recognizing your own patterns, of seeing where you habitually become rigid and learning how to soften. Right now, in this moment, you are practicing this mastery. You are learning to recognize the places where you grip and clench and fight against your own nature. Your jaw, your shoulders, your mind churning through thoughts instead of resting. And in recognizing these places, you are creating the possibility of release, of softening, of flowing. This is the practice, not to force yourself into relaxation, which is a contradiction in terms, but to notice where you are forcing and gently, curiously, explore what it might feel like to stop, to let your jaw soften, to allow your shoulders to drop, to watch your thoughts like clouds passing across the sky, interesting, but not requiring intervention. The Taoist sages understood something that modern psychology is only now beginning to appreciate, that resistance creates persistence. The thoughts and feelings you fight against are the ones that stick around, growing stronger in proportion to the energy you use trying to push them away. But the thoughts and feelings you acknowledge without fighting, allowing them to be present without feeding them, these gradually lose their power and drift away like morning mist under the warming sun. So if worry is present tonight, don't make an enemy of it. Don't declare war on your own mind. Instead, notice the worry the way you might notice the sound of rain. It's there. It's real. And it will pass if you let it, flowing through and away like water through your open hands. Now we move from contemplation into embodiment, from thinking about water to becoming water. From understanding the philosophy to living it through the medium of your breath and body and awareness. This is where ancient wisdom becomes present experience, where words dissolve into sensation, and sensation into the peace that lies beneath all experience. Begin with your breath. Don't change it yet. Simply notice it. Feel the air moving in through your nose or mouth, traveling down into your lungs, causing your chest to expand, your belly to rise. Then feel the natural reversal, the release, the exhale flowing out, your body softening as the breath leaves. Your breath is like a wave. It rises, it crests, it falls, and then there is a pause, a stillness, before the next wave begins to rise. You don't need to create this rhythm. It has been breathing you since you took your first gasp at birth. It will breathe you tonight as you sleep. It will breathe you tomorrow when you wake. Your only task is to notice it, to ride it like a wave, to let it show you what flow feels like. Now, gently, with the lightest touch of intention, begin to lengthen your inhale. Breathe in slowly, counting to 4 if that helps. Imagining that you are drawing in not just air, but peace itself, calm itself, the serene essence of water. Fill your lungs completely, but without strain, without force. This is not an aggressive breath. This is a soft gathering, like water pooling in a basin. Hold this fullness for just a moment, not holding like gripping, but holding like cradling, like cupping water in your palms. Then exhale, even more slowly than you inhaled. Count to 6 or even 8. Let the breath flow out of you like water spilling over a fall, smooth and continuous and complete. Feel your body softening as the breath leaves. Feel tension draining out with the exhale, as though your breath is carrying away everything you don't need to hold anymore. Pause at the end of the exhale. Rest in the emptiness. This is the yin space, the receptive void, the stillness before the next beginning. Don't rush to fill it. Trust that the next breath will come when it's needed. Your body knows. Water knows. The Tao knows. Continue this rhythm. Inhale for 4, hold for 1. Exhale for 6 or swot. Pause in the emptiness. Let each cycle be like a wave washing over a shore, smoothing the sand, erasing footprints, returning everything to its natural state. As you breathe, begin to scan through your body with gentle attention, starting at the crown of your head. Imagine that your awareness is like water flowing slowly downward, noticing everything without judgment, softening everything it touches. Your scalp first. Feel the skin covering your skull. Often, we hold tension here without realizing it, a subtle tightness as though we're bracing against thought itself. Breathe into this space. Imagine warm water flowing across your scalp, melting any hardness, dissolving any gripping. Let your scalp soften, heavy and relaxed. Now your forehead, the place where worry often writes itself in lines and furrows. Smooth your forehead from within. Imagine the muscles beneath the skin releasing, lengthening, letting go of the day's expressions, the masks you wore, the faces you made. Your forehead is simply forehead now, not trying to communicate anything, not holding any message. Soft, released. Your eyes still closed, resting behind their lids. These eyes have worked so hard today, focusing and refocusing thousands of times, tracking movement, reading text, making sense of the visible world. They can rest now. Let them sink deeper into their sockets, as though they're floating in warm water, suspended, supported, with nothing to see and nowhere to look. The muscles around your eyes soften. Your eyelids grow heavier, more willing to remain closed. Your jaw, that place where so many of us store tension without realizing it. Let your teeth part slightly. Let your tongue rest heavy and loose in your mouth, not touching the roof of your mouth, just lying there like a sleeping animal. Feel your jaw joints release, that subtle click or shift as the tension lets go. Your whole lower face becomes soft, almost liquid, as though it could flow and reshape itself. Move your awareness down through your neck. Now, that bridge between mind and body, between thought and feeling. Your neck holds the weight of your head all day, working constantly to keep you upright, balanced, oriented. Feel the gratitude your neck deserves, and then let it soften. Imagine the muscles of your neck as tight ropes, slowly loosening, unwinding, becoming soft cables, barely taut, just present. Your shoulders. Here is where so much tension lives, where stress takes up residence like a permanent house guest. Your shoulders may have risen toward your ears without you noticing, braced as though expecting impact, ready to defend against threat. But there is no threat here. There is only darkness and breath and the soft embrace of rest. Let your shoulders drop. Consciously release them, feeling them fall perhaps an inch, perhaps more than you expected. Let them become heavy, so heavy that they sink into the mattress beneath you, merging with it, supported completely. You are not holding yourself up anymore. The earth is holding you. Gravity is holding you. You can let go. Down your arms now, your awareness flowing like water through a channel. Your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, each muscle releasing, softening, becoming less solid and more liquid. Your wrists, those delicate hinges that have moved so much today, typing or writing or gesturing or simply being, let them rest now, loose and soft. Your hands, those miraculous tools that have grasped and held and worked all day. Let your fingers uncurl completely. Let your palms open, as though you are releasing everything you've been carrying, everything you've been gripping, letting it all fall away. Your hands rest now beside you or on you, completely relaxed. No longer doing, simply being. Move to your chest now, the center of your body, where your heart beats its steady rhythm, where your lungs expand and contract with each breath. Feel how your chest rises and falls like gentle waves, how it moves with its own intelligence, requiring nothing from you. Let your chest soften, opening without effort, spacious and at ease. Your upper back pressed against the bed or pillow. Feel the contact, the support. You are being held. The surface beneath you is solid and reliable, asking nothing, simply offering support. Let your upper back spread across this surface, widening, releasing, melting into the support that's offered. Down through your abdomen now, that soft, vulnerable center where we often hold fear and anxiety. Tightening our core as though to protect ourselves from invisible blows. But you are safe here. You can let your belly soften completely. Let it rise and fall with each breath, round and soft on the inhale, releasing on the exhale. No holding, no tightening, just the natural movement of breath through your center. Your lower back, which has supported you all day, holding you upright against gravity's constant pull. Thank your lower back for its work, and then release it. If there is any arch between your lower back and the bed, let it soften. Let the space close. Let your back rest fully on the surface beneath you. Supported. Released. Your hips, those powerful joints that carry you through the world. Let them soften, opening slightly, releasing. Feel how your legs rest in their hip sockets, heavy and loose, held only by the natural structure of bone and ligament, no longer by muscular effort. Down through your thighs, now, those strong muscles that propel you forward, that climb stairs and stand and walk. They've done their work for today. Let them become heavy, so heavy, sinking into the bed with complete surrender. Your thighs are just weight now, just mass, no longer holding any purpose or intention. Your knees, those hinges that allow you to move through the world, let them rest in whatever position they've found, whether bent or straight or somewhere between. No longer working, just being. Soft around the joints, released. Your calves, down through your shins, muscles that have balanced and supported you all day. Let them go slack now, loose and heavy. And your ankles, those delicate articulations between leg and foot. Let them rest completely. Finally, your feet, those foundations that have carried your entire weight, that have walked you through your day, that have stood and balanced and moved and worked without complaint. Your feet can rest now. Let them fall open, flopping outward naturally. Let your toes release, uncurling, soft and loose. Take a moment now to feel your whole body at once, this landscape of relaxation you've created, this geography of softness. You are not holding yourself in any particular position. You are not maintaining any particular state. You are simply resting, heavy and loose, and completely supported by the surface beneath you. Your body has become like water, formless, taking the shape of its container, flowing into every available space, soft and yielding, and somehow more powerful in its softness than it ever was in its tension. Now, as you continue this deep, slow breathing, begin to visualize yourself beside a river. You cannot see it clearly because night has fallen completely, but you hear it, that eternal sound that predates human history, that will continue long after all human noise has ceased. The sound of water moving over stone, through reed beds, under the vast dome of stars. You are lying on soft grass beside this river, on a gentle bank that slopes down to the water's edge. The grass is cool and slightly damp with evening dew. The earth beneath you is solid and supportive, holding you with the same gravity that holds planets in their orbits, the same force that has held everything that has ever existed. Above you, stars emerge slowly as the last light fades from the western sky. These are not the stars obscured by city lights. These are the stars your ancestors saw, countless points of light scattered across the darkness like diamonds on black velvet. So many that they seem less like individual points and more like a luminous mist. The air is cool, but not cold, moving gently across your skin, carrying the scent of water and earth and growing things. You breathe this air, feeling it as a gift. This particular combination of oxygen and nitrogen and trace elements that is exactly what your body needs, provided freely by the living world, requiring nothing from you but the simple act of breathing. The river beside you moves with constant sound, a sound that contains within it all sounds, rushing and murmuring, splashing and flowing, high notes and low notes, a symphony played by water and stone. Listen to this sound. Let it fill your awareness. Let it become the only sound in the universe, the background music of existence itself. As you listen, you begin to understand something. The river is not going anywhere. It is always arriving and always leaving. Each drop of water is unique, passing this particular spot only once in all of eternity. And yet the river itself is constant, eternal, always present. This is the paradox of flow. Everything changes, yet nothing changes. Form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. You realize that you are like this river. Your thoughts, your feelings, your sensations, these are like the water, constantly moving, constantly changing, never the same from one moment to the next. But you, the awareness that notices these thoughts and feelings, you are like the riverbed, constant and present, the space through which experience flows, but which is not itself the experience. This is a profound realization, though you need not grasp it, or hold it, or understand it fully. Simply let it wash through you, like water, through your open hands. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness in which thoughts appear. You are not your worries. You are the vast space in which worry arises and dissolves. You are not even your body. Not really. You are the consciousness that inhabits this body, that looks out through these eyes, that experiences this particular life while remaining somehow beyond it. Imagine now that you are floating in the river itself, supported completely by the water. It is warm, this water, warmer than the night air, holding you with gentle pressure all around. You float on your back, looking up at the stars, moving slowly downstream with the current. You are not swimming. You are not trying to go anywhere or do anything. You are simply allowing yourself to be carried, to flow, to move with the way rather than against it. This is Wu Wei in its purest form. Effortless action. You are moving, traveling down the river, and yet you are doing nothing. The current does all the work. Your only task is to trust, to relax, to allow yourself to be carried by something larger than yourself. Sometimes the current moves faster, and you flow through gentle rapids, the water bubbling and splashing around you. But you are not afraid because you have surrendered to the flow. You are water in water, inseparable, safe. Sometimes the current slows, and you drift through deep pools where the water is calm and dark and still, reflecting the stars above so perfectly that you cannot tell where sky ends and water begins. This is your mind now, floating between thoughts, drifting through the space between waking and sleeping. Sometimes thoughts move quickly, bubbling up like rapids. Sometimes they slow, and you drift through deep stillness where nothing moves and everything is perfect as it is. You don't need to control which parts of the river you pass through. You don't need to steer or direct or navigate. The river knows where it's going. The Tao knows its way. Your only practice is surrender, release, trust, flow. As you float, you begin to notice that the boundary between your body and the water is becoming less distinct. You are not sure where your skin ends and the river begins. You are becoming the water, or perhaps you are remembering that you were always water, that the sense of being separate, solid, individual was always an illusion, a temporary crystallization of flow into form. Your thoughts are like this too, becoming less distinct, harder to grasp, flowing into and out of each other without clear boundaries. A thought arises, you notice it, and it dissolves back into the stream of consciousness before you can fully form it into words. This is not a problem. This is exactly right. This is the mind learning to flow, releasing its grip on the need to control and understand everything. Lao Tzu's words echo in your awareness. Do you have the patience to wait until your mud settles and the water is clear? All day, your mind has been like a jar of water shaken vigorously, mud and sediment swirling through it, clouding everything. You have been trying to see through this cloudy water, trying to make decisions and understand things while everything is murky and confused. But now, finally, you are becoming still. The jar is no longer being shaken. And slowly, so slowly, the sediment begins to settle. The mud drifts down through the water, finding the bottom, leaving clarity above. You don't need to do anything to make this happen. You only need to stop shaking the jar. You only need to be still and let gravity do its work. This is what sleep is, allowing the sediment to settle, allowing the mind to become clear, not through effort, but through stillness, through the natural process that occurs when you stop interfering. And when you wake tomorrow, the water will be clear again, ready for whatever the new day brings. The river carries you onward, and now you notice that the sky is beginning to lighten, just barely, at the edges. Not sunrise yet, but that subtle shift that happens in the hours before dawn, when the darkness begins to thin, when the stars start to fade, when the world prepares for transformation. But you are not waiting for dawn. You are not anticipating the next thing. You are simply here, now, floating in this eternal present moment, this space between breaths, between thoughts, between one day and the next. This is the only moment that exists. This is the only moment that has ever existed. Past and future are just thoughts, just ripples on the surface of now. Let yourself sink deeper into the water, not drowning, but merging, becoming indistinguishable from the flow. There is no you and the river. There is only river. There is only flow. There is only this eternal now, this perfect present moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this vast stillness that contains all movement, Wu Wei, non-doing, effortless action. You are not trying to sleep. You are not even trying to relax. You are simply allowing what wants to happen, removing the obstacles, releasing the resistance, becoming water. The river carries you to a place where the current slows and finally stops. You have entered a vast lake, so large you cannot see its opposite shore even in daylight, so still that its surface is like polished glass, perfectly reflecting the stars above. The moon has risen now, full and luminous, and it floats on the water's surface like a second moon, like a mirror of itself. Reality and reflection become indistinguishable. You float in this still water, and you realize something profound. This is the same water that rushed through rapids, that tumbled over falls, that carved through stone, that flowed ceaselessly for hundreds of miles to reach this place. The water has not changed. It is still water, still H2O, still the same essential substance, but its form has transformed. From rushing to still, from active to receptive, from yang to yin. This is the wisdom that the river teaches in its fullness. There is a time for flowing and a time for stillness. There is a time for movement and a time for rest. And neither is more important than the other. Both are necessary. Both are water. Both are the way you have flowed through your day, like water through rapids, moving and responding and adapting to everything that came before you. And now, finally, you have reached this still lake, this place of perfect rest, where movement ceases and peace prevails. This is not defeat. This is not passivity. This is the natural completion of the cycle, the yin that balances yang, the rest that makes future action possible. Lao Tzu understood this perfectly. He wrote, "The supreme good is like water, which nourishes all things without trying to. It is content with the low places that people disdain. Thus, it is like the Tao. Water does not need to announce its power. It does not need to prove its strength through constant display. It can be still, silent, receptive, and in that stillness, it contains all its power in potential, ready but not desperate, present but not aggressive. Look at this still lake surrounding you. It appears passive, inactive, perhaps even powerless to someone who doesn't understand water's nature. But this still water contains within it all the power that carved canyons, that moved mountains, that shaped the very landscape through which it flowed. The stillness is not the absence of power. It is power at rest, power in its yin form, power practicing Wu Wei. You are this still water. Now all the power you exercised today, all the thoughts you thought, all the problems you solved, all the conversations you had, all the work you did, this power has not vanished. It has simply become still. It rests in you now as potential, as capacity, as readiness. Tomorrow, it will flow again if needed. But tonight, right now, in this perfect moment, you are the still lake, reflecting stars, holding the moon, utterly at peace. Zhuangzi tells a story of a wise man who could stand in water up to his neck without drowning, who could walk through fire without burning, who could move through the world without being harmed. When asked how he achieved this, he said simply that he put himself in harmony with the Tao, that he yielded to circumstances rather than fighting them, that he moved with rather than against the natural flow of things. This is not magic. This is wisdom. This is understanding that water overcomes stone, not despite its softness, but because of it. You have practiced this wisdom tonight. Every time you noticed tension and chose to soften, you were being water. Every time you let a thought pass rather than grasping it, you were flowing. every time you released the need to control and surrendered to the natural rhythm of breath and body, you were practicing Wu Wei. These are not small things. These are the very foundations of wisdom, the essential practices that transform not just how you sleep, but how you live. The moon on the water's surface ripples slightly, gently, as a breeze moves across the lake. But beneath the surface, in the depths, all is still. This is another teaching. Surface disturbance does not mean deep disruption. Thoughts may ripple across the surface of your mind. Sensations may come and go. But in the depths of your being, you remain undisturbed, like deep water that knows nothing of storms. This is who you really are, not the surface ripples, but the deep stillness, not the passing thoughts, but the eternal awareness in which thoughts appear. You are the lake, not the waves. You are the space, not the content. And this realization, this remembering of your true nature, brings a peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, that doesn't require everything to be perfect. The deepest truths cannot be captured in words. They can only be experienced, lived, embodied. And you are experiencing them now, in the direct, immediate way that bypasses language and thought. The way water knows how to flow without studying fluid dynamics. The way your heart knows how to beat without consulting a manual. This knowing is more certain than any intellectual understanding. It is the knowing of the body, of the breath, of life itself. And it is available to you always, in every moment, whenever you remember to soften, to yield, to flow, to return to your essential nature as water in this vast ocean of existence. The moon rises higher, and its light grows stronger, making the lake's surface glow with a soft, silvery luminescence. You float in this light, bathed in it, held by it, as though the boundary between water and light has also dissolved, as though you are made of moonlight and water and starlight all together, as though you are not a separate thing at all, but simply a temporary pattern in the endless flow of the universe, expressing itself. And this is true. This is not poetry or metaphor, but simple fact. The atoms that make up your body were forged in ancient stars. The water that flows through your cell has flowed through countless other beings before you. The breath you breathe has been breathed by everyone who ever lived. You are not separate from the world. You are the world, temporarily organized into this particular form, this particular flow of water, called a human being. When you understand this, really understand it, not just intellectually, but in your bones, then there is nothing to fear, nothing to protect, nothing to defend. You are already home. You have always been home. You are the Tao experiencing itself, water flowing through the landscape of time, temporarily taking this shape before dissolving and reforming as something else, forever and ever, without beginning or end. Rest in this understanding. Let it hold you the way water holds you now, the way darkness holds you, the way silence embraces you. You are safe here, safer than you have ever been, because you have stopped pretending to be stone and remembered that you are water. And water cannot be broken. Water cannot be defeated. Water simply flows, changes, adapts, and continues, eternal and indestructible, soft and all-powerful. The stars above begin to fade now, not because they have gone out, but because their light is being overcome by something brighter, something inevitable, the dawn that comes, whether we wait for it or not, whether we are ready or not, whether we have slept or not. But you are ready now. You have released what needed to be released. You have softened what needed to soften. You have flowed where you needed to flow. And now, like water that has completed its journey, you can rest. You can be still. You can let the surface of your mind become as smooth as this lake, reflecting nothing, simply being. This is the deepest form of Wu Wei, the ultimate effortless action, the action of allowing sleep to come, of permitting rest to arrive, of surrendering to the natural rhythm that every creature knows, that flows through all of life like a river flows to the sea. Lao Tzu's final words echo across the still water. The Tao does nothing, yet nothing is left undone. This is the paradox at the heart of existence, the mystery that cannot be solved, but only lived. You do not need to make yourself sleep. Sleep will come when you stop preventing it. You do not need to find peace. Peace is what remains when you stop creating conflict. You do not need to become water. You already are water. You only need to remember. And you are remembering now, in this moment, in this perfect stillness, in this space between breaths where everything is exactly as it should be, where nothing needs to change, where all is well, where rest is not just possible, but inevitable, where sleep is not something you must achieve, but something that simply happens when you allow it. Like water finding its level, like rivers flowing to the ocean, like the Tao expressing itself through you in the simple, beautiful act of letting go. The lake grows darker as the last stars fade into approaching dawn. But you do not see this because your eyes have been closed for so long now, because you have descended into depths where light does not reach, where sound does not penetrate, where thought dissolves into something deeper than thinking. You are water in water, breath in breath, silence in silence. The boundaries have all dissolved. There is no you and the lake. There is only this vast, still presence, this perfect peace, this eternal now. The sound of water fades, or perhaps you simply stop hearing it, stop distinguishing it from silence, stop needing to name or know or understand anything at all. Your breath has become so slow, so subtle, that you cannot tell if you are breathing or being breathed, if you are living this moment or being lived by it. This is the threshold, the doorway, the gentle crossing from waking into sleep. You do not need to step through it consciously. You do not need to know when it happens. You simply drift, like a leaf on water, like a cloud across the sky, like everything in this universe that moves according to the Tao, according to the way, according to the natural order that requires nothing from you but surrender, flow, release, soften, let go. Nothing to hold, nothing to solve, nothing to be. Just this, just now, just water, just breath, flow, rest, water,